Good day. Today I want to talk to you about 3 brilliant ways to prevent burnout in your workplace. Hey there, my name is Matthew Ewell from Leading with Nice, where we want to help you inspire others, build loyalty, and get results. Now, recently I had Janice Litvin on the Leading with Nice interview series podcast. You can check that out. The link's in the description. And she is a stress release expert, if you will, for the workplace. And she had some great tips, and I'm going to share them with you right now. Now, she has a lot more and some really interesting insight, some good data, some great stats to back up what's being said, what she shared and what I'm sharing with you today. So check out the podcast for sure. The number one piece of advice she had was basically very simple. It's ask people how they're doing and actually take stock of their answers. So as a great manager, as a great leader, director, whatever your role is, you should be able to tell if maybe some of your staff, when you ask them how they're doing, if it's a bit different than normal, if they're feeling some stress, if they are maybe not quite themselves. And it's okay to dig a little deeper and poke and prod is maybe the wrong word, but hopefully you're getting the idea. What you're trying to get after is your employees, the person you're asking, are they in need of something to help release some stress? You know, Janice had this great quote. I'm going to read it for you. Let me just pull it up here. She said, "We're humans. Humans are not little machines. We don't come to work and make widgets. We come to work and think passionately and creatively. And if someone has a problem and you're not taking the whole person into account, they cannot be as creative and productive as they would normally be," which is exactly why you want to do a little bit of some questions. Of course, you don't want to violate their privacy or their right to having a life outside of the office, but you need to judge that for yourself. We're going to talk about how you can get to the place where you are much better at that in a second. The second thing she said was, don't call people on their days off or on their holidays. You know, I was speaking with a friend of mine recently who has quite a senior position at a higher education institute. And she talked about this project that she really had to get done that came up last minute that she was responsible for, but she was going on vacation. And so she gave permission for one of her reports to email her to her personal work account. And she did that sparingly so that she wouldn't have to see all the other work email. Now I'm sharing that with you because I just said don't bug people on their days off or their holidays. You know, that is pretty much the only exception to that rule. When you give permission for somebody to email you, and when you do, create a new Gmail account or Yahoo account or Hotmail account that you can use once and then throw away, so that so you're not looking at your other work email, and that in the future you don't get work email mixed in with your private email. But generally, give people their time off. We're not meant to work 24/7, 365. We're actually meant to work a lot less than that. We need time to recuperate. In fact, ultimately we should be having a workplace that actually energizes us for our time off, so that when we go and have time off, we are already full of energy to enjoy that time off and not necessarily just to recuperate so that we can give it all back to work. So that's the second thing. Now the third thing is really important because it's a key to how you get to those first two things. And it's this: invest in emotional intelligence training for your staff. So you've probably heard a lot about emotional intelligence, and Janice and I, when we spoke about it, you know, EQ has kind of become a buzzword like synergy or let's take it offline. But really, emotional intelligence training helps managers, directors, people in specialist and coordinator roles. It really gives them some insight into how they already use their emotional intelligence and where they can actually seek to improve that or really feed into that, you know, as a higher capacity, that they have more ability to be emotionally aware of both themselves and of others. And when you invest in that, those first two things happen a lot more naturally, and it's a big win. Now, the key to all of this, the reason why you want to do this, is Janice said, turnover at your workplace probably costs somewhere between 150 and 200% of that employee's salary. So to hire somebody new, to train, to do the job, recruitment, etc., it's so expensive. And one of the number one reason people are leaving work today is because of stress. If you can reduce that, you're already ahead of the game, and it will impact your bottom line. Now, for more like this, visit leadingwithnice.com. Check out the podcast. And if you want to talk about how you can increase your staff's emotional intelligence, please reach out to us at leadingwithnice.com. We have great plans, programs, workshops we can talk about as little as 1 hour and as much as being part of your work retreat to really help you on your way. My name is Matthew Ewell. I'll talk to you again soon.